So that's what this video is about. Have I gotten the point across yet? We're gonna be working with these grow lights. Now that I've kind of realized the sun-like power of these Kolem grow lights, we're gonna be working with them. We're gonna rearrange our plants. I'm gonna go through some of the things that I've been noticing over the past few days, and we're gonna get everything all straightened out. We're gonna get all the little details twisted like a twisty little tie. And all that coming right up. Like I say about most products, including these grow lights, these Kolem grow lights that I'm talking about in this video, there's 1,000 choices out there for any product, any app, anything. Usually I learn a little bit about the technical aspects of it. I watch videos and stuff, and I get reviews from other people, and I kind of learn a little bit from experts and things before I buy a product. And then honestly, you know, I play with it. I experiment with it. I stop thinking about the numbers. I stop thinking about using meters and things like we're doing today. And I just let the plants talk to me. I move them around. I watch how they're actually, you know, growing under these things. I got scared by these grow lights, you know, right off the bat, because I had them pointing down at my plants, and I underestimated their power, obviously, and I fried a plant that I thought was my most sun-loving plant. But now that I've got a little bit of a taste of that power, rather than kind of back away in fear from it, I want to learn just enough about the numbers so that I can make some educated decisions on where to actually place the plants in my plant room, and just not kind of, you know, go in on that willy-nilly. And for that, I use an app called Planta, but you can choose whatever one you want. I'll just kind of show you. I've got my Sago Palm. This plant likes a low amount of water, so you got to let the soil completely dry up before you water it. Normal humidity, prefers part sun, part shade, and that one is what we're looking for. So we're not going to have that Sago Palm. I actually thought, before I just looked that up, I thought that Sago Palm would probably be a good candidate to sit on that table right there, but it's not, because now that we got that grow light pointing at it, that table specifically is reserved for our full sun-loving plants. It gives me so much more freedom when I don't actually have to hold the camera here. You know, I like holding the camera because it's interactive and I can kind of wave it around a little bit. But when I actually can find a spot to set it down and talk with both of my hands, it's wonderful. So now that we know that this little table is getting full sun, we're gonna put our desert rose on there. This dwarf jade forest that I made not long ago. It's kind of a part sun, part shade, but this actually, it can take full sun. So I think we're gonna try this one. We're gonna smush it to the back a little bit, and in front of it, we're gonna put our jade plant, our non-dwarf, our full jade plant. This is a full sun-loving plant too. Do you ever kind of wish that you haven't had octopus arms? I do wonder. You know what I really wonder about when I'm thinking about having things like octopus arms? Like, I understand that my brain comes up with signals and my arms like move with it, but I can't imagine having two more like arms to think about. But then I'm like, I don't have to think so much about using my own arms. I don't know. It just kind of blows my mind. I'm always thinking about, like, what is the perspective? What would it be like to be an octopus? Let me get this one in here. We're gonna have these two be like a little duo. Should we have the ivy going down to the back? Maybe we'll do that and wait for this one to kind of go over the front. We have this angle as well, but we'll maybe kind of fill something in there eventually. So our dwarf umbrella tree right here, it's a part sun, and believe it or not, right under the shelf, it's actually right on about part sun. So I think that right down here is going to be the perfect spot for our dwarf umbrella tree, little bonsai thing we got going on. And this is actually the original pot. I've never seen the roots of this plant, so I don't know when we're going to do it, but coming up sometime I'm going to be repotting this thing. Oh, let's hope it fits. You know what? I'm actually going to move it. We're going to move it right to up there. Polka dot begonia. I did that holding the camera and ducking down and popping up. Isn't that impressive? I don't know where this one is going to go. I know where it's not going to go, and it's on that top shelf because that's reserved for our elephant, or our dwarf umbrella tree, I should say. I didn't show you. This is my newest plant. I don't even have a pot on it. I found it for $15 at like a big box kind of local store. Oh, and I don't even remember the name at the moment. Hold on, I can figure it out. Still got the tag. A polyalocacia is what this is. And you know what? Normally, I actually kind of stray away from these kind of waxy looking, almost when you look at it, you're like, is that a real plant? For some reason, I stray away from them, but this one has like a medieval feel to me. Again, sort of that like dragon vibe. And I do kind of love anything like mystical, magical. Ooh. Now I'm really kind of considering changing this pot out, because to be honest, it's one of those ones that drains down into this like dish that's built into it, and I hate that. But let me show you something. I mean, look how this pot just perfectly fits in there. And when I'm always spouting off the mouth talking about how you got to listen to your plants, they'll talk to you and all of that sort of thing, that moment that we just experienced, that's kind of the thing I'm saying. When you set a pot down on a shelf, and even the curve of the front of it kind of matches perfectly with the curve of the front of your shelf, that sort of thing. That's what I call little magical moments that we get to experience in life. Anyways, being the perfect spot and all that aside, you're still due for an after season cleanup. So we turn that grow light off for just a minute, so it's not kind of constantly ruining the shots over here. As we kind of design the table front here. So we've got our desert rose. We're gonna put our dwarf jade forest. I think right back here would be nice. Our little rose in front of it. We've got our jade plant that we'll put, I think we're gonna put this front and center, and maybe reserve a little bit of space back here just in case we wanna do something with it. In fact, our ripple jade, I think is gonna look really good right there. And this false Aurelia, I wanna kind of shove right into here, and I'll show you why. Number one, I kind of like the way that it hides this, what do you call that, topiary stem a little bit. I just like the little bit of texture that false Aurelia kind of throws back here. And same goes for that ripple jade that kind of just ripples behind its actual jade counterpart sitting right in front. Now let's actually check this spot right here. Now keep in mind, all of these locations are also going to have sun that kind of blazes in at some time. In fact, the timers that I set for these grow lights, I'm probably going to have these lights cut off during the peak hours of the day from like 2 p.m. to about 6 p.m. maybe right now. All right, we're still dealing with full sun right here. We're still dealing with full sun all the way to the corner. We're starting to get basically, we're still dealing with full sun all the way to our Swiss cheese plant over there. So the idea is we don't want it pointing basically right at you. We're gonna kind of lean this more. I guess we'll kind of, you can't see what I'm pointing at. Like right in there is where I'm going for. And then down here on this shelf, we'll have more of like a full sun space again. So I guess we have to move this Sago Palm somewhere next. Because I spend so much time in this plant room, I'm a little bit concerned with just having, grow lights pointing at me and blasting me as well. The nice thing about these things is, of course, as most lights are these days, these grow lights are LED, so they actually don't put off that much heat or anything. It just kind of catches you a little bit in the eye. Okay, so back to the little table here. I think I'm going to take my burro's tail and put it, we'll just arrange that somewhere there too. Maybe over here. This is another one of those sun-loving plants. And I'm kind of expecting this this dwarf jade bonsai forest to actually grow up quite a bit in the background there. So that's actually a pretty good spot for that too. I'll tell you what I'm really trying to do here, guys. I'm really trying to clear this kind of cluttered bench right by the window. Now that we've reorganized this room and kind of, stirred everything up and the dust is settling, I'm starting to notice the mistakes that I've made, like kind of throwing this little pieces of everything all over the table. And I don't know, I'm getting to the point where now I'm just trying to kind of work everything into its little spots. You'll enhance the shot. If you sit right here, you'll enhance it. While I'm working in the background. There you go. Just sit there and smile. Just do whatever you want. Okay, now knowing that this corner is going to be a little bit less bright, let's put our fishbone cactus. I've got one of our baby Paleas sitting right here, so we'll try that out too. These baby bromeliads, they are a full sun-loving plant, so I think they're going to be perfect right on that shelf. We'll leave our other plant down here. Boom! I'm going to get myself all sorts of tubs. I don't know what kind of sizes yet, but I want to get tubs to sort of separate. I'm getting so many different varieties of mosses down in my terrarium here. I want to be able to separate that out. I want to have like more like shoebox sizes where I can do propagations from individual plants that are down here sitting on top of the heat mat under there. I want to do, you know, I need a bunch of different kinds of boxes. So we'll get to that point soon. Maybe I'll even make a video about all the different boxes that I get and how I'm going to use them and that sort of thing.
Hey, look, over there.
Boom!
Hey, Dad.
You tried to make me miss that by telling me to look over somewhere?
No, look over there. Seriously.
I will say it looks quite magnificent in this room. I was a little bit scared of all of these lights. I've got these 3 that are pointing over here, and I've got those 2 right over there that are pointing down. Just leave those on, Joe. Just leave those on. I'm talking about the lights right now, boy. But I guess that's the stage of the video that we're moving to. We're moving to the back corner of the office, to the back space, which is actually why I got these grow lights, because I know that this wall, being the furthest from the window, of course, you know, according to the meter. And again, I just want to point out that I'm not generally kind of like a meter obsessed person where I'm constantly testing, you know, looking at the care of the plants and constantly testing with the meter. To be honest with you, I have my doubts that the thing's even that accurate, but I know what that meter does. That meter does point you in the right direction. If that thing's blasting out full sun, it at least means that something is happening at that spot. You need a little bit of a nudge in the right direction. You need to pay attention to the plants most of all. More importantly than any sort of meter or reading or any of that sort of stuff, you got to pay attention to the plants. And that's why we love this stuff, ain't it, boy? Is that why we love this stuff, Joe? Joe doesn't quite love this stuff yet, but don't worry. If he chooses, I'll be willing to. Well, you'll have the videos to watch for all of your knowledge. I won't even have to teach you. Heck yeah! Isn't that the idea of modern civilization? I don't actually interact with you anymore. I just make videos and tell you, don't worry, boy. When I'm gone, you can watch them. But now, let me interject. I want to tell you the problem that I've actually had with these lights. So this stand right here that's got these 3 kind of heads for the grow lights on it, it doesn't have any dimmer switches on there. So remember when I showed you on this grow light that I could click the switches and it would dim down? Well, this one doesn't have that option, which I thought was going to be I thought I'd made a mistake when I actually went for it in the first place. But then I learned something about these lights on a timer. And when I run these lights on a timer, maybe it's just my timers, I don't know what it is. But if I set the dimness to this light to say I want it, you know, halfway dim or all the way or on the lowest setting, when the timer clicks off and then the timer clicks back on and gives power back to these lights, they're going to be at full power again. So you would still have to come in here and manually flick those switches and turn it back down to the dimness you want. Now, I don't know anything about using external dimmers or any sort of thing like that. And I know that probably these lights aren't the most high-tech solution anyways, but I did just want to point that out, that you can't actually use that dimming function if you're going to use a timer with it. It's fine if you're just going to click that thing on every single time, but if you're actually trying to use it where you've got timers that are bringing the grow lights on, like I would assume most people want, so you don't have to go flicking around switches every single day, or if you go on vacation or something like that. But you can't use it with that. So anyways, it made this stand a little bit more realistic to me right here. And then what I decided to do is I initially had thought, you know, you got to get plants, you know, a lot closer to these things. For some reason, all the pictures that I see on the internet, the plants are like, they're sitting like a foot under they're in shelves, and the light will be like right here and the plant will be down here. But first time I put my desert rose under one of these lights, it burnt the crap out of it. So maybe it's just the style of light. I've decided to go for the more like light up the other side of the room kind of approach with them, and we'll just see how that works. At this point in the video, I think we need to head back over to that corner, and that light right there, it's just begging for a repoint, and from this distance it should at least be bringing, you know, I'm assuming just kind of the trail ends of a little bit of light down there. But this one right here is what I'm a little bit more concerned with. So I'll bring it up and do sort of a snake thing. And I want to kind of just have it, I don't even know if you can see me anymore, but I want to have it, oh man, I'm blinding myself. And the idea is just bring a little bit more light to this area. All right, let's see, should I finish it? Are these grow lights ruining my video, or are they adding to it? I don't really know. Part sun down here, which is actually perfect. Full sun, pointing right at this thing, obviously. Kind of looking part sun, kind of part sun. This is actually ideal. This is kind of what I was looking for down in this area. So it drops off. Imagine that is a spotlight, and imagine there's like a cone coming out of it, right? So there's sun rays that go, and they kind of open as they go. But as they open, everything kind of dims off towards the edges. And then there's like a laser beam right in the middle of this thing, and that thing's got your full sun. So that's why when we're looking at that light, close your eyes because it's a little bright up in that corner right there. Down here, as the light just kind of blasts right into there, it's going to be full sun right in there. I'm not even going to hold the meter, but it's going to be full sun right in here. And then as it sort of tapers off to the outside of that cone that it's spreading, it will, you know, it'll fade into part sun, part shade, and just kind of give us that nice, relaxing, supplemental, is I guess what we can say, lighting that we're looking for. Now I've actually had a lamp behind my tree fern back there. It's just a regular lamp. It has, I don't know anything about growing. It's been sitting behind this tree fern the whole time, and I don't know if it's been doing anything or not for the plant, but I will say that since I've got this tree fern, it has sprouted, it's sprouted 2 more fronds, and you can see another little guy coming up right in there. So eventually we're going to have another one kind of poking up in there. I think the lighting is actually perfect over here. I think we don't even have to touch our ferns that are down here. Boat lily should be fine. Our dragon tree we might move, because I think what we're going to do is this plant right here doesn't like, I've always felt like this plant just doesn't like the bright light. So I want to make sure it's not getting blasted by any light. You can get sort of a security camera view. And that should be kind of a fun way of ending this video, wouldn't you say? What you say, Joe? Is that a fun way of ending it? Having it like a security camera, the camera up here? Because now I've got my microphone so they can still hear me say something. Oh, geez Louise, had to tone that one down probably. All right, so the idea was we're gonna move this dragon tree. You know how I know these, I said these grow lights don't put off too much heat, but I actually really want, drop my mic. I actually really want to take this sweatshirt off, because man, it's probably just all my breathing and hot air, but it's getting a little bit toasty in here. So let's move this dragon tree back. I think I'm just gonna put it back behind the fern there to throw a little bit of texture in that corner. I think it'll be interesting. And I'm just curious to see how it grows back there. And then we're gonna stuff our, I hope I say this one right, our Deja Vu Philodendron that I've begun to notice doesn't like too much light. We're gonna put that in place of the dragon tree over there. Do we need to move anything else? I kind of feel like I want to move our new plant that doesn't even have a proper pot yet over to this, maybe this corner right here. I think that's about it. Let me pick you back up. Let me give you the grand tour. Whoa! Hope I didn't break my thing there. We've almost got, we decluttered this a little bit, although I've still got some decluttering to do. Obviously I got to find a place I've got to get some bins so I can store rocks and mosses and propagate more things. And in general, just become a little bit more of a professional. So bins coming up. I don't know if those will make into a video, but I'm sure you'll see my bins in an upcoming video. Otherwise, we've got grow lights pointing to filling up every little inch of this room. I can essentially just kind of, I think, maybe keep the windows closed except for those plants on that table right there. But don't worry, I won't. I still believe, despite how powerful our little phone meter might say that these grow lights are, there's still nothing as good as just the bare natural sun. Anyways, that's the video. Joe, that's the video. We reorganized some stuff. We reorganized some plants. We talked a lot about grow lights. My little boy, Joe here, he was hanging in the corner. His name's actually Jonah. Got anything to say, Joe? Whoa. Oh, sorry, bro. I didn't even see. I haven't seen Rafi in a long time. Here's him down here. Here's him down here. All right, Joe. Final statements. Hold on. Got to make this one a good one. Whisper in my ear what you're gonna say, and I'll tell you if it's a good one. Make it something like profound that makes you sound really smart. Say, Say,
I'm an astronaut.
I'm an astronaut. All right, that's where we end the video. I'm an astronaut.